Do you know that over 50% of people with master's degree and MBA are not working with that master's degree and MBA? And many of them are in different schools and universities all over the West African coast. Go to Benin Republic, go to Ghana, go to Cote d'Ivoire, go all over. You see Nigerians everywhere. Why? Because the admission is not here. The question then will be, this school they are all going to what end? And this university they are all going to what end? And most of the time, people go through this system, and a lot of parents, the major part of their money is spent sending their children to school to go and study useless courses, to go to school, spend 4 years in the assembly line, and they come out unemployable, they come out without job, and then the cycle continues. And we are not having a rethink. We think that's the way it should go. We think that we should just have a certificate, and that certifies us to make meaning in life. But let me tell you something, it's time to learn, unlearn, and relearn, or else you will continue the same cycle on the assembly line of corruption, of poverty, of capitalism, of colonialism, and then you begin to blame village people where there's no village people. If you're an accountant, you are an engineer, you're a medical doctor. The first person that was a medical doctor, who gave him a certificate for him to be a medical doctor? That person that gave you a certificate that you are now a chartered accountant, who chartered him? That person that gave you a certificate that you are now a nurse, you are now an architect, which school did that person go to? Who was the person that told that person the curriculum to use to train you, for you to now be certified to become what you are called now? Are you beginning to see now? So you find out that whether you like it or not, there are people that have been privileged to be pioneers, and because they have been pioneers, they have sat down to develop what they want to see. They have developed curriculum, they have developed platforms, and they have an end in mind to say, okay, let's put this platform together, take them through this assembly line, and then when they come out, they'll be like this, they'll be like this, they'll be like that. And
welcome to Finance Bits and Pieces. We are determined to equip you with insight and expert guidance as you journey to financial freedom and excellence. Please subscribe, like, and share for more inspiring videos.
So we're looking at redefining education in the 21st century. Redefining education in the 21st century. And I believe that is an exceptional and amazing series that we need to really take time to study. Now, please listen and listen well. We're going to be spending time to review the old, and we're going to be unveiling the new so that we can be able to embrace the new things that is happening in our world today. If you are very, very sensitive to happenings around you, you realize that we have not just gone into what is known as the 4th industrial revolution. We have moved on to the 5th industrial revolution, and there is a continual change that is happening in our world today. With the advent of AI and ICT, a lot of things are changing in the educational landscape. Unfortunately, a lot of people are still operating in expired curriculum. A lot of people are still operating in expired academic era. And I'm trusting that we will sit down, we will listen, we will learn, and we'll be able to leave this series transformed to become a testimony. And let me begin by saying that I believe in education. I believe in education. Education is very, very powerful. I'm privileged to have 2 masters and I have 2 PhD, so I'm not against education. I've been a product of the educational system, and I've been privileged to have experienced education in different levels and in different dimensions on a global scale. And I can tell you for free that we need to have a change in order for us to be able to experience that which we are dreaming of and which we are longing for. If you don't like the result that you are getting, check the inputs. If we look at the quality of graduates in our world today, and we look at what's happening with a lot of people that have gone through the educational sector, we'll realize that a lot needs to change. So I believe in education. So let's just get that out, because we are talking about redefining education in the 21st century. And I don't want anyone to leave here thinking, oh, he doesn't believe in education, or he doesn't want people to go to school. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm trying to help us to understand that in order for us to maximize our possibilities and be the best version of ourselves and really be relevant in the 21st century world, then we need to redefine what we call education. Because most of what we are calling education are nothing but the programming of colonial masters and the programming of capitalists and the programming of people that have gone ahead of us in order to program us. And sometimes I ask questions like, okay, you said you're a chartered accountant, you said you're an engineer. The question I try to ask people sometimes is, okay, if you're an accountant, you're an engineer, you're a medical doctor. The first person that was a medical doctor, who gave him a certificate for him to be a medical doctor? That person that gave you a certificate that you are now a chartered accountant, who chartered him? That person that gave you a certificate that you are now a nurse, you are now an architect, which school did that person go to? Who was the person that told that person the curriculum to use to train you, for you to now be certified to become what you are called now. Are you beginning to see now? So you find out that whether you like it or not, there are people that have been privileged to be pioneers. And because they have been pioneers, they have sat down to develop what they want to see. They have developed curriculum, they have developed platforms, and they have an end in mind to say, okay, let's put this platform together, take them through this assembly line, and then when they come out, they'll be like this, they'll be like this, they'll be like that. And most of the time, a lot of us have just accepted the status quo. Oh, that's the way they used to do it. That's the way it has always been. But question I ask again is, let us do it the way they have been doing it, so that we get the result they have been getting. Are you okay with the result they are getting? That you want to do it the way they have been doing it? So it's time to have a rethink. I personally believe that primary education should be compulsory. Primary education should be compulsory. I believe that anywhere in the world, every child should go through primary education, elementary education, and that's very compulsory. But the very minute you come out of primary school, I personally believe that from that point, every individual should now have come into a place where, because by then you're going to be probably 11 or 12. So you're going to be between the age of 10 and 12. So between age 10 and 12, when you are coming out of primary school, when you are coming out of elementary school, you are in your preteen age, you are in the covenant bar mitzvah. Because Jesus, our Savior, was around this age when he went into the temple and he began to read, and you remember the story. So when you are in your preteen years, between the ages of 10 and 12, if you have gone through the elementary school and you have been brought up in the right kind of environment, by that age we should know what your area of focus or your area of strength will be. So when you are going into high school or you are going into secondary school, you are going into high school, you are going to secondary school with a purpose in mind, with an agenda in mind, knowing fully well what you are supposed to be achieving with your life. And you find out that a lot of people, once they have been able to discover purpose, they leave elementary school, and instead of going to secondary school to study courses or go through school to study subjects that will not align with the bottom line of their destiny, they go straight into what they want to do. And then before you know it, by the time they are 19, you find out by the time they're 19, they are 20, they have started doing what needs to be done. And if they spend 20 years in that, by the time they are 40, 41, they have spent 2 decades in the industry or in the sphere where they want to operate, and they have been able to become senior managers, they've been able to become executive, they've been able to become massive global entrepreneurs, and then their life takes a different turn because you are still going through secondary school, then you go through university, and by the time you are coming out of university, they are the one employing you. I don't know whether I'm jumping ahead of myself, but we'll get there. So when you look at what's happening in our world today, with millions of graduates being unemployed and some underemployed, listen and listen well. Right now, over 1 million people graduate from secondary school without admission. Over 1 million people every year are writing JAM, writing GC. At the end of the day, the entire admission within the country, Nigeria, is less than 300,000. So every year, let's say 1 million people come out that needs to get an admission, only 300,000 admission. Next year, another 1 million join the 1 million or join the 700, 1.7. So right now, we have millions of young people that have finished secondary school waiting for admission. There is not enough admission for them. Many of them do not have the money to go outside the country and go and study. And many of them are in different schools and universities all over the West African coast. Go to Benin Republic, go to Ghana, go to Cote d'Ivoire, go all over. You see Nigerians everywhere. Why? Because the admission is not here. The question then will be, this school they are all going to what end? And this university they are all going to what end? And most of the time, people go through this system, and a lot of parents, the major part of their money is spent sending their children to school to go and study useless courses, to go to school, spend 4 years in the assembly line, and they come out unemployable, they come out without job, and then the cycle continues. And we are not having a rethink. We think that's where we should go. We think that we should just have a certificate, and that certifies us to make meaning in life. But let me tell you something, it's time to learn, unlearn, and relearn, or else you will continue the same cycle on the assembly line of corruption, of poverty, of capitalism, of colonialism, and then you begin to blame village people where there is no village people. So let's look at all these things together objectively. Now, millions of people are seeking admission. There is no admission. Over 80% of what you learn in school is useless when you graduate. Yes, and you all know the truth. The world that exists when you resume school today, the world that exists when you resume will no more be in existence 4 years after when you graduate. So most of the time, people are going to school to study courses, to read textbooks that are useless, and to read through curriculum that are useless, that by the time they graduate, all the things they have been taught cannot even be relevant to the world, because the world has moved ahead of those curriculum. So we need to have a rethink, because gone are the days of academic education where you go through the 4 walls of a school and spend 3, 4, 5 years studying a course, when the world that you are living in, you now go into the university, you go into the colleges, and you are in a world of your own. While you are in that world, the world where your world is existing, that world has changed. By the time you graduate, you discover that you're obsolete, because they are not teaching you with timely technology. They are not teaching you timely truth. They are not teaching you what is relevant. So am I saying don't go to school? No, I'm not saying don't go to school. Follow this series to the end so that you know where we're going to. We need to redefine things. I want you to do your research before you argue. I'm a research person. I do research on a global scale, and many of the things I bring before you, they are things I've thought through, I've researched. Do you know that over 50% of people with master's degree and MBA are not working with that master's degree and MBA? Go and do your research. Over 50% of people that have done MBA, over 50% of people that have gone for masters, after they finish the masters, after they finish the MBA, their employment is below masters, below MBA. Many of them are still working with their first degree. Many people, by the time they finish their first degree, because they know there is no job, they say, well, master. Before you know it, they enter the assembly line again. They go and thinking that the more degree they have, the more or the better chances they have in the marketplace, not knowing that what the educational sector as it is that needs to change is programmed to do is to create job seekers, not job creators. And the world we live in today is not looking for activity. The world is looking for productivity. The world is not looking for certificate. The world is looking for action. They are looking for productivity. So it's not about certificates. Can you back up your certificate with action? So there are 3 aspects of education as we begin to go deeper. Number 1, you can be educated, which is what a lot of people are trying to do by going through the educational sector. They want to be educated. But a lot of people have gone to school yet they are not educated. But we are not there yet. Number 1, you can be educated. And many of us know what it means to be educated. Number 2, you can be miseducated. You can be miseducated. And number 3, you can be uneducated. So educated, uneducated, and miseducation. So let's talk about being uneducated. Lack of education is a deficiency. Lack of education is a limitation. Lack of education limits the possibilities of people. So I personally believe in education, and I believe that every government all over the world must ensure that primary education is free and compulsory. Primary education is free and compulsory in every state, in every nation of the earth. Because to keep people uneducated is to keep people in the primitive life where they can be easily manipulated. To keep people uneducated is to keep people in a realm of life where they don't know better. And if you know better, you do better. If you don't know better, you don't demand better. And what we have seen, especially with the elite, the political elite and politicians, is that they have done everything they can to keep people uneducated, so that people will not know better, so that they will not demand or ask for better services and better governance. So education is very key. So uneducated, no way. Let's do everything we can to ensure that at least free and compulsory primary education. Secondary school, that is where you need to begin to have a rethink. Because you don't necessarily have to go through secondary school if you have discovered purpose. You need to look into a new kind of education, which are the things I want to begin to unveil to you in the course of this series. So I'll give you an example. If by the time you are finishing primary school, at the age of 10, between 10 and 12, you have discovered that you have a call of God, you want to be a minister of the gospel, what do you need to do? 4 years Bible school, straight. 4 years Bible school. By the time you are 12 plus 4, by the time you are 16, 17, if you went by 11, by the time you are 15, 16, you have completed 4 years Bible school. You now go for another 2 to 3 years internship to go and understudy and go and be mentored under another pastor. By the time you are 19, 20, you will have gone for missions. You will have done crusade. You will have understood different aspects of ministry. By the time you are in your 20s, you are ready to pioneer a work and to become a major player in the hand of God. And you can do that for the next 40, 50 years of your life. If by the time you finish primary school, you have discovered that you like to be a fashion designer, what are you going to do in secondary school? No. From that point, you go to fashion school. If you spend 2 years, 3 years in a fashion school, and then you come out and you do internship, before you know it, within 5 years, while your mate are doing secondary school, you have become a fashion designer. You have become a fashion icon. You understand all the dimensions of fashion, and then you can begin to earn. Same thing goes for different aspects of life, except for professional aspects. So you want to be a pilot? Oh, of course, you don't need to go through the academic route. You want to be a medical doctor? Fine, you have to go through the academic route. But there are many of you that do not need all this education that you are putting yourself through, because at the end of the day, they don't matter to the bottom line of your life. And they end up becoming a major devourer of the finances of the family. And many marriages, many families are being ruined by school fees. Training people to go and study useless courses that ruins the marriage, ruin the finances, and still ruin the children. They graduate, they are still at home eating your food. They graduate, they are still at home, they can't rent a house. They graduate, they are still at home, they are not married. You are still carrying load. So you can be educated, uneducated, or miseducated. Let's see if we can close with this today. 5 dimensions of education that everybody needs to have in order to maximize their possibilities in life. 5 dimensions of education that everybody needs to have in order to maximize their possibilities in life. You're going to be the best version of yourself and maximize your possibility. You need 5 dimensions of education. Number 1, you need spiritual education. You need spiritual education. When we look at our world today, we are saying that values are dropping. We are saying that people don't have values anymore. We are saying that morality has dropped. Why? Because spiritual education is lacking. We have left spiritual education to church alone. Families don't have family altars anymore. Families don't have spiritual education anymore. Sometimes the parents themselves are the instrument of corruption and immorality in the life of their own children. And many times the church itself and the religious institution that is supposed to be a place of spiritual education to help people develop their personal walk with God, the church itself has become an entertainment center and has become a center where all the things that needs to be done is not being done. So number 1, you need spiritual education. Spiritual education helps you to understand who you are in God. Spiritual education helps you to understand the realm of the spirit. Spiritual education helps you to understand who God is. Helps you to understand the powers that work in the realm of the spirit. The powers that is at work in the realm of the supernatural. Because you are either in the secret cult or you are in the secret place. Spiritual education helps you to understand the price that Jesus paid and what has been made available to you as a result of the price that was paid. Spiritual education helps you to understand who you are in Christ, the authority you have, and how you can walk in dominion mandate and put the enemy where he belongs. Spiritual education helps you to become a spiritually mature disciple that will not be a child tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine and become a pawn in the hands of charlatans behind the pew. So you need to understand that you need spiritual education. Very, very important. And you do not need to rely on the church alone for this. You have to take responsibility for your personal development, including your spiritual education. So many times for this church now, we are Bible in 1 year. Every year, next year, January is around the corner. We're going to tell you again, Bible in 1 year. And people think we're joking. People think we're joking. People think we're playing games. People think we're just doing religion. We're trying to help you to be developed. We're trying to help you to become a disciple. We're trying to help you to know God for yourself and understand the word of God for yourself. Because listen to me, when the enemy attacks you by 3 a.m., I'm going to be there. And if you call me, there may be no network. So you need to understand that you may not be able to get your pastor, but you can get God. You may not be able to get your pastor, but you can get heaven's attention when you have understanding of what God has said concerning you. You need to understand who the devil is, understand the limitations of his power, so that you can put the devil where he belongs, so that the enemy will not continue to manipulate you and mess up your journey with God. Number 1, you need spiritual education. Number 2, you need personal education. You need personal education. You need personal education. You need to know who you are. Understand your likes, understand your dislikes, understand your strengths, understand your weaknesses, understand your temperament. Because whether you like it or not, for every individual, there is a known self, there is an unknown self, there is a hidden self, there is an open self, there is a blind self. There are things about you that you know that nobody knows. There are things about you that you know and people know. There are things about you that people know and you don't know. So personal development helps you to know your strengths, your weaknesses. It helps you to understand your potential. It helps you to be able to develop yourself holistically. And that's one of the reasons why, as a pastor, I believe in the full gospel. I believe that God wants us to grow holistically, because the Bible says, I pray that your whole spirit, soul, and body be kept blameless. So that's why we do what we do, to ensure that we are not just teaching you Bible, we are teaching you morality, we are teaching you finance, we are teaching you relationship, we are teaching you career, we are teaching you leadership, we are teaching you so that you can be a holistic believer, so that every aspect of your life is covered as a child of God. So you need personal education. If you don't understand yourself, how can you be able to teach people on how to understand you? When you understand yourself, you know your limitations. When you understand yourself, you stay within the area of your strength. I've said it over and over again. Fishes don't struggle to swim. Birds don't struggle to fly because they are within their natural habitat. If you take fish out of water, it will struggle. If you put the bird inside water, it will struggle. If you rate a monkey according to its ability to swim, the monkey will be a failure. If you rate a fish according to its ability to fly, the fish will be a failure. When you don't understand yourself, you end up like a fish out of water. You end up like a donkey or like a monkey in the river trying to swim and win Olympic. And you realize that nothing will happen. And you say village people. It's not village people. You are misplaced. You are mismatched because you are not where you are supposed to be. Number 3, you need academic education. You need academic education. What's academic education? That's what we're trying to redefine. Academic education has 4 responsibilities. Number 1, it helps you to read. Number 2, it helps you to write. Number 3, it helps you to calculate. Number 4, it helps you to think analytically. So repeat after me. Academic education. I can't hear you. Academic education helps me to read, helps me to write, helps me to calculate, and helps me to think analytically. Now write it down. So let me ask you a question. Every one of you listen to the sound of my voice right now. Do you have any child, cousin, young one that you know that has completed primary school and they cannot do any of those 4? Think well now, because we are going deeper now. Is there anybody you know that is in primary 6 that cannot read? Is there anybody you know that is in primary 6 that cannot write? Is there anybody you know that is in primary 6 that does not know how to calculate? Is there anybody you know that is in primary 6 that cannot think analytically? So if in primary 6 they can do the 4, the purpose of academic education has been completed. There is no need for any academic education again, except you need it for professional stuff. Do you know that what you used to calculate with finger, they are now calculating with calculator? Do you know that what you used to think to get answer, they can ask Siri? Siri, how many states do we have in Nigeria? Alexa, how many states do we have in Nigeria? And you are still doing Anambra, Oweya, Owerri, Lagos, Ikeja. Siri will do it, Alexa will do it. So sit down because we are going deeper now. So which primary school do you know? Which primary 6 student do you know that cannot read, that cannot write, that cannot do mathematics? That can't calculate that 100 naira plus 100 naira is 100 naira. They don't know that 5,000 plus 15,000 is 20,000. Which primary school do you know that can do that? So if academic education is to help you to read, write, calculate, and think, which primary school student cannot do that? So by the time you finish primary school, education, c'est fini. Education, c'est fini. From that point, you are now supposed to begin to redefine what you call education instead of following the normal assembly line that has ruined all of us. Many of you are sitting down here right now, like I always say, you are looking normal, but you don't have any job. You are sitting here now, you don't have any job. You have certificate, no job. Who will give you the job? Many of you here now, you have master's degree. Master over what? You have master's degree, you can't even start a business and employ 3 people. So what are we talking about? You are the testimony that the educational system needs to be redefined. Many of you have PhD now, PhD over what? Many of you have master over what? Some of you now, all the school you went to, the salary you are collecting is not even up to 100,000. And somebody selling gala on the road is making 100,000 in 1 week. Let's face reality and stop fooling ourselves. Except you want the certificate for prestige and then you are certified and poor. Is that what you are looking for? No problem. So it's time to redefine this thing. Number 4 is professional education. Professional education. And what is that? It's marketplace education. It's industry education. It's understanding the way things work in the market. It's understanding the way things work in the market. So every time you see a vacancy, and you see the vacancy, and they say, we need, maybe they say accountant needed, or they say general manager needed, or head of marketing needed, and they now say 5 years experience. You see that word, 5 years, or that phrase, 5 years experience, that's professional education. What they are saying is, apart from the school that you said you went to, we want to be sure that you have marketplace education. We want to be sure that you have education in the industry. You know how the marketplace works. You know what it means to resume. You know what it means to be a team player. You know what it means to be loyal. You know what it means to write report. You know what it is to be prompt. You know what it is to be submissive to authority. You know what it means to meet targets. That means you understand the way the marketplace works, so that you don't end up saying, I came late because it was raining. How many seasons do we have in Nigeria? Rainy season, dry season. What's your problem? It's raining. Well, if it's not raining, it's sun. That's the only two we have. So what is your excuse? Professional education. And then finally, number 5 is financial education. Financial education, we have said so much about that. We don't need to go back into that. Financial education is understanding money. Financial education is understanding how to make money, how to manage money, how to multiply money. It's understanding the difference between asset and liability. Because if you know better, you do better. The more you learn, the more you earn. Because your learning capacity determines your earning capacity. So as we are talking about redefining education, the state of things are not where it's supposed to be. And you are either educated, uneducated, or miseducated. I've been silent on the miseducation because I want to begin to focus on that next week.
Thank you for watching. Please drop your comments and opinions to help us serve you better. See you on the next video.